Proceed to presentation 1. Study of the difference of platelet indices in dengue fever and dengue hemorrhagic fever. The authors are Dr. Edrisinghe EMDT, Dr. Vijayasinghe RANK, Dr. Govindapala BGDS, Dr. Samaravikrama T, Dr. Munasinghe TMJ, Dr. Aravinda LP, Dr. Dasanayaka MCU, and Dr. Sherif MHR. The presenting author today is Dr. Jayasekara MMPT.
My study is the study of the difference of platelet indices in dengue fever and dengue hemorrhagic fever. As you all know, dengue is an acute viral fever with epidemics coming, and thrombocytopenia is a common laboratory finding. But there is inadequate data on platelet indices in dengue infection. We have studied PCV, other parameters, but not the dengue indices. So, a prospective observational study was conducted between May 2019 to May 2020. The platelet indices we used were mean platelet volume, platelet distribution width, platelet crit. On day 4 of the fever, we use them as a platelet activation indicators. So these indices were compared between the groups of patients who had dengue fever and dengue hemorrhagic fever. There were about 101 patients. Out of them, 67 were dengue fever and 34 were dengue hemorrhagic patients. And the median platelet count was 70 in dengue fever and 43,000 on day 4 of dengue hemorrhagic fever. And obviously, it is significantly low in the dengue hemorrhagic fever. We all knew that. And our finding was like patients who developed dengue hemorrhagic fever, we found the median platelet crit, mean platelet volume was significantly lower than dengue fever patients. Namely, dengue fever patients platelet crit was 0.78% and 0.47% in dengue hemorrhagic fever. And mean platelet volume, it's 9.9 in dengue fever and 9.4 in dengue hemorrhagic fever. So there is a significantly lower platelet crit and mean platelet volume when compared to dengue fever with dengue hemorrhagic fever. But there was no significant difference in platelet distribution width. And we use this comparison using the Wilcoxon-Mann-Whitney test because our distribution is not equal, it's non-parametric, and we use the median. In conclusion, there was significant decrease in mean platelet volume and platelet crit with decrease in platelet count coupled with hemorrhagic tendency. In addition to the platelet count, we suggest platelet indices such as mean platelet volume and platelet crit can also be useful in monitoring the progression of dengue fever and dengue hemorrhagic fever. So we need to have large studies to get the standardized values, such as now we are using PCV. So then we can compare with the PCV which we are using at the moment and decide which is the meticulous indicator of monitoring dengue fever and dengue hemorrhagic fever. Thank you.
Champika have questions?
Yes. Is the justification of selecting day 4 is to use as a predictor? Day 4. Why did you use day 4 as a platelet count? Yeah.
She wants to know why you use day 4 to start to do the assessments. Was it a predictor or something?
Day 4 because we know the patients go into critical phase in day 5. That is the reason we use day 4 full blood count to get an idea whether they will go into critical phase or not, madam.
I have another question.
Yeah.
Now, PCT is a manifestation of a low platelet count. So when you have a low platelet count, anyway, the PCT will be low. So that is again another finding associated with the low platelet count, isn't it? So you cannot say that is really predicting something, but mean platelet volume, is your findings different from elsewhere findings? Because mean platelet volume is In yours is reduced. In some studies, it is increased.
Madam, it is difference is like when it is increased, it's a what they say is there's a destruction of platelets. When mean platelet volume is increased, then there will be new platelets. But when mean platelet volume is reduced, what will happen is we can identify as a bone marrow suppression is still going. So we know there will be hemorrhagic tendency. There will not be any new platelets. So that is also found in other studies as well.
Okay.
Just have one question for you. Does the PCT add any value to other than platelet count? Does it give any additional information in terms of clinical care?
Not really, but platelet crit, when platelet crit is low, we know this patient is having low platelet count, and actually not as a single value. With comparing the other indices, the other studies they have found PDW also has significance. If we compare with them also, then we can get an idea because
Taking it as a whole.
yes, overall, not the single value.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I didn't know that you were in KDU.
Okay, we can give a few minutes for the judges to evaluate and if you give me the go ahead, madam, we can go to the next presentation.
I can go ahead.
Okay.
I don't ask the other.
He's all
We
right,
have a
madam.
week. Go
He's
ahead.
here.
Yes.
Next will be presentation 5. Poster presentation 5, inflammatory profile of HIV uninfected and co-infected patients with tuberculosis, a prospective cohort study and immunological network analysis. The authors are Dr. Du Brun E, Dr. Fukutani KF, Dr. Schutz C, Dr. Maintages G, Dr. Ariaga MD, Dr. Cubilus Angulo, Dr. Sher A, Dr. Ryu C, Dr. Wilkinson KA, Dr. Andrade BB, Dr. Wilkinson RJ, and the presenting author will be Dr. Rockwood M.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for the opportunity to present. So the influence of HIV co-infection on the immune system and immune response to mycobacterial tuberculosis remains poorly understood, as each pathogen compounds the immunopathology associated with the other, adding to complexity. And then further to add to the mix, the intertwined effects of antiretroviral therapy and its effect on immune reconstitution and immune clearance of mycobacterium tuberculosis during antituberculous therapy need to be considered. So we applied a systems immunology approach. To a cohort of 130 patients who were based in Hylishad Township in South Africa, we measured 39 markers of inflammation, including immunoactivation, tissue remodeling, oxidative damage, and we measured using PEGS technology, plasma, of each patient who are undergoing treatment. And we measured this at 3 different time points. At the baseline, prior to TB treatment, 8 weeks, and at 5 months of treatment. We also measured markers of immunosuppression such as CD4 count and HIV viremia. And just to give a few broad characteristics, These were all cultured and burnt tea. Out of these patients, 58% had cultured and converted at 2 months of TB treatment. 8% had unsuccessful treatment outcomes, including death and failure during treatment. 58% of these were HIV co-infected. And out of the ones who were HIV co-infected, 27% had suppressed HIV viral loads at baseline. So I'm going to talk through some of the results now. So first of all, I just draw your attention to this Venn diagram. What is it showing? It's showing essentially the response to TB treatment compared with baseline, both at 8 weeks, as shown in this green circle, and at 20 weeks, as shown with the yellow circle. And obviously the intersection is where the results were the same. So red means that the correlate increased, blue means that it decreased. So first of all, you'll see both at 8 weeks and at 20 weeks, the majority of correlates, all these ones, which I won't name individually for lack of time, had decreased. But there were some that actually, they increased at 8 weeks, such as IL-1 alpha, but then by 20 weeks, it had decreased. Similarly, IL-10, which we know is anti-inflammatory, it had decreased at 8 weeks, but it had increased at the end of treatment. So then I take you to this heat map. This heat map is essentially showing you at a glance in these 39 analytes, how the response to treatment at baseline, 8 weeks and 20 weeks.
Okay, now it's the time for the questions from the judges. Madam, if you wear your headphones, you can hear the virtual results. Okay, madam.
We couldn't finish the presentation, isn't it?
No,
Yes.
no, unfortunately not.